guys, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to make a video today while playing my Sims 2 to 4. I wanted to talk about my things that I have changed or decided on differently for playing like an integrated save file, or even just like a rotational gameplay, or a wish based, because that's how I play this save file, as you know. Um, so I just wanted to kind of make a new little I don't I don't really know what to call it, but I guess it's like a new little list or whatever of like my steps of how I play it and how I keep it going. I've had this save file now over 2 years, and I'm still absolutely in love with this save file. I don't see myself stopping playing this anytime soon, and I just love the storylines that kind of unfold sometimes on their own. So the first thing, obviously, that I always look at is my Sims wishes, of course. That is really important to me, that they complete these whims or wishes, whatever you want to call them, because that is like my Sim telling me what they want to do, and I want them to be able to tell me that, because I don't want to be like, oh, you have to do this. I like to kind of see what my Sims want to do. Um, so I really, really, really like that personally. So I try to look at that, of course, but I also need, like, the needs are my number one priority, because I obviously don't want my Sims to die. And so that is like, um, um, so I just like want to be able to take care of my Sims so that there is no problems, with my Sims like dying of cold or dying because they didn't eat or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So those are my number one priorities, would be their wishes and then their needs. The next thing that I always kind of come back to, and I always like look at, is like like some of the things that I know that my Sims always need to be doing is, I have like mods in for specific things. So like my Sims need to brush their teeth so that their teeth don't go bad, and um kind of things like that. So I'm always kind of like keeping an eye out for those specific things. Or like if my Sim is sick, I need to treat that, you know what I'm saying? There's just like little things that I know that I need to be taking care of on a daily, and making sure that my Sims are getting through. Then on top of that, obviously I'm taking my Sims like doctor's appointments and things for pregnancies or whatever else they have going on. Um, and then I try to kind of play off of the wishes that they have. So like, say my Sim, like, I use my calculator, of course. So say my Sim has a wish that they want to make money. Um, I will roll for what job they want to get based on that, because that's like my way of making money. And if I feel like um my Sim is like kind of like one of those Sims that doesn't really need a job, or doesn't really have to, do anything about like a job, then what I do instead is I allow my Sim to do like something with their hobby to make a little bit of money if they can. That is always an option as well. They don't have to, but they can do that as another option, alternative. And another thing that I always do as well is, if my Sims get like wishes for like get a job in the criminal career, I don't technically take that. I just read that as they want to get a job. Because I like to use my calculator. I spent a lot of time creating that, and so that's kind of how I kind of like alter, like how I like tweak the wishes for myself to make it so I feel like I still get to have a play in like what they go into, but at the same time they get to tell me like, hey, I want to make money. I also like to play off of some of the events that happen in the game. So when I was playing the caps, Bianca Monti came into the into Reagan and Cornwall caps, bedroom while they were asleep, and she lit the fireplace. Now, as you know, the Monties and the Caps are on opposite ends of the like friendship thing, the feud. So it set the house on fire. So I assumed that Bianca set it on fire, like the house on fire on purpose. And so things like that, things that happen in the game, you can kind of play off of them, of course, and kind of take into consideration some of those things as well. So like if my Sims in their relationship, if they are, I don't know if these two are, I don't think they are, they have bad compatibility. That's too funny. So like if they get like a sentiment or something that they're like unhappy in their marriage or whatever, I will actually have them go to like a romance consultant and talk with them and have them do some sessions to see if they can like get back on track. And if they don't, then that's kind of when I go, okay, well, my sim is not seeming to, reciprocate the same feelings anymore. And so they can like choose, I can like roll a die or whatever, however I want to decide it, but I can literally choose to like have them get a divorce because of that. So their moodlets and the things that happen in the game can really play into it, of course. And so those things are really important to me because if I can read the room pretty much, then I can sometimes help myself out a little bit more. So that's what I really, really like to do, is to try and kind of do all those things first. So like right now, this is Stella Roth. She is very unhappy about the pregnancy that she's going through. She doesn't want the baby, but her husband does. So when the baby gets here, they need to go to counseling with each other to see if they can kind of like reconcile that. They're a little bit at odds on some things, but like the relationship is still going in the right direction. So they will be heading to go and have a little bit of therapy after she has the baby, of course. Now, Morty is like ecstatic about the baby. He's very excited. And that's kind of like another thing, like reading the room kind of like that, where she's not really happy about it, but he is kind of just says to me like, okay, I think that I can really like help myself out here and make it a little bit easier on myself if I just kind of like look at the moodlets or look at those kinds of things. So after that, I have decided that their careers are important, especially because it's how they make an income. Before, I was just doing it like, okay, they don't really want to like get a promotion or anything. So it's not like a big deal to me. Now every day I think I'm going to start letting them do their daily tasks, only because the daily tasks can help you increase your performance, of course. And I have it now set where like everybody can't be at number 10 in the careers. There is like specific amount of slots per career. So like say we'll do her, for example. She's a writer 1, but say she was a writer 9, right? So she's at level 9 in the writer career. If, say, her daughter Sandra ended up wanting to be a writer as well, she couldn't be at level 9 unless Stella was able to go up to a level 10. Like there's only 30 slots per careers, and if those slots fill up, like you can't move up in your career until the person in front of you moves up and there's a space opened up. So it's okay for me to kind of work on their careers a little bit more now, because their careers are what they wanted to do. They're their lifelong goals. Right along with their aspirations is another thing that I think it's okay to work on a little bit more, because I've got the ones that have just the one task. So like if my sim wants to, say, be fabulously wealthy, or they roll that they want to complete an aspirational goal, I will go ahead and mark it as done if they actually do complete something that pertains to the specific thing. So like she wants to throw 20 or earn gold on 20 thrown parties. So like if she had a wish to host a party like she does, and say she was going to host a party, even if she was just going to do it because, she wanted to have a baby shower or whatever. Um, then what I would do is I would throw the baby shower, and then if she had a wish that said like work towards work on an aspirational goal or whatever, I would mark that as done because that's what I consider to be like what she needs. Um, Stella needs a new challenge at work. How does she ask the boss to present suggestions or demand present? Um, so yeah, so those are also things that I think are like really good to try and remember. And then playing integrated, I really want to make it where I don't need to go into my buy mode like ever if I can help it. So I'm really trying to kind of set it where my Sims can do everything from in game. So they can get an animal, they can adopt a baby, they can buy their groceries. All of these things are like things that are important to me, and keeping it where your Sims, not all of your Sims live exactly the same way, is really important because if everybody lives
Oh,
in a
Kabla.
mansion and has a cajillion amounts of dollars, that's going to get really boring really quick. Where if you have it where only specific, only specific people can have a cell phone, or only specific people can um you know live in a house that's worth a bajillion dollars. That is going to make it a little bit more interesting because you're not going to be just like living the same life on everyone, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I think it's really important to kind of like set up some rules for your save file for sure. So, like for me, I have like my social class and stuff. So, all of my Sims are in like a social class, and then they can only have like specific amounts of items that, like, their plumbing can't be over a specific amount, or their appliances can't be over a specific amount. And it keeps it so that not everything is always the same, and not everyone is going to live the same life. And it does really, really help me out in the long run because I can kind of alter how my game is played or how much of my game is the same, and it really helps me out in the long run. So those are really big tips that I think I really enjoy about this. And I really do enjoy like just being able to play the Sims 2 characters in the Sims 4, but still having like the Sims 4 experience with the Sims 2 drama in a sense. And I also play with things like where my Sims can, you know, go woohoo by themselves without me having to tell them. So it adds a little bit of drama or whatever, you know? And I also do play with like real life like scenarios, I guess. So like you can, like I have talked about it in the past, but I don't really condone like getting pregnant as a teenager, but I do think that it's a realistic thing that happens a lot with teenagers in real life. And so I do play with teen pregnancy on. And so, like, right now, Sandra Roth is expecting a baby with, I'm pretty sure, Jacob Martin. So that kind of adds a little bit of drama to the game because, moms and dads, they get upset about those things, and then it causes those Sims to like with the mod especially, you can have it where they can either like disagree with it or whatever. And so like it can cause like a little bit of like riffraff. So like as you see here right now, Stella is telling Jacob that she's having a baby, right? And like Jacob is really distraught about it. You can tell just by the picture of his face, the way he's put his hands onto his face. He's not very happy about this. He's upset probably because he wants to go to university or something. And so Stella has kind of like given him like a little bit of upsetting news. Now, the difference is I kind of look into what the Sims are or how they're feeling. So like she was really upset about the baby at first, but she is not getting like a lot of bad moodlets about it, honestly. She was just really nervous, I think, about it at first, and I think she's come to terms with it at this point, since she is in her second trimester now. But Jacob is just now finding out. So, like, if Jacob stays upset about the baby, maybe he doesn't want to be a part of the baby's life. And I kind of just play off of like what I see my Sims doing or how I see them interacting or reacting to news that maybe one of my Sims tells them. So, so now it's upset Sandra because, as you see, she gets a moodlet saying that he is not happy about the pregnancy. So now we know that Jacob isn't very happy about this baby. So if it was up to him, I think Jacob would give the baby up for adoption. But if on Sandra's side, I think Sandra is happy about the baby. She doesn't have any bad moodlets about the baby, and she doesn't really seem to get like really upset about being pregnant. And so here's the part where now, do we consider this relationship might be ending, because there's a little bit of like a little riffraff between them, you know what I'm saying? So does Jacob love Sandra enough to kind of like work through it? So from here on out, I just kind of like watch their reactions with each other. If they were a little older and they were adults, obviously I would send them to couples counseling and try to like get them to talk it out and see if they could do that. So how I would recognize that, you know, they've worked on their relationship and they want it to keep going, is I would go to my therapist, whoever the therapist is. I would call over these two Sims. And then what I would have them do is they would sit down and talk with her. She would have a little bit of a conversation with them. She has like special interactions to do with them because she is in that career, the romance consultant career. And then when I play as them again, after 3 rotations of playing them after they start their sessions with her, so they do at least 3 rotations of sessions, which is technically only 3 sessions. Once they do that, I look at the relationship bars, and the relationship bar has had to have gone up and not down. If the numbers have went down, either, you know, if it's just like friendship, like maybe they had a little spat or whatever, but if it's romance and friendship, that's like a big no-no. Probably means that the relationship is over. They're not really seeing eye to eye anymore, and they're not really getting along. So the relationship and the way that the Sims interact in the game can really tell me how people are feeling. It can tell me kind of like where my Sims are headed in life before they may even know it themselves. So like with Jacob being upset right now, if he doesn't come to terms with the baby within, you know, a little bit after the baby is born, then I'll consider that maybe Jacob doesn't want to be a father and he just kind of wants to be the more like, you know, the paycheck that just kind of supports the child from afar. Maybe he doesn't want to be in the child's life. And that's kind of how I play my integrated save, and kind of make the big decisions that are kind of a little bit harder to recognize. So like just because, you know, Jacob is upset about the baby doesn't mean that he doesn't want to be part of her life still. It doesn't mean that he doesn't want to be part of the baby's life. We kind of need to play it out and see how it goes from here on out. So we can like, there is some things we can do in here, and we can like enthuse about the pregnancy with him. We can offer to go to counseling for the unwanted pregnancy. We can also like try to reassure him about the pregnancy. We can tell him that we want to keep the baby. We can talk about the room decoration and try to like convince him to like be okay with the pregnancy. And if we can get him to be okay with it, especially if we can do that before the baby ages to an infant, then I consider that they've like come to terms with it and they're okay with it. I haven't yet had a Sim not come to terms with it. I do have one other Sim that's not like made up with the idea of having a child, and I think that was Lola Curious. She's still on the fence, but like AJ Loner is the dad, and he is happy about the baby. So it kind of worked out for them in the long run. One of them just decided to kind of, you know, accept it and moved forward. I don't know if I want to keep it like until they're an infant forever, because I feel like that could be a really long time. And am I ever going to have like the chance of like my Sims, you know, being unhappy with each other? I don't know. Um, but I do also do it where like if my sim has that they don't want a baby and their spouse says that they don't want a baby, then they can talk about giving the babies up for adoption as well. So, like I said, I do play off of the moodlets that my Sims get, and of course, I do play with a bunch of different mods. If you guys ever want me to do a video of like what big mods that I play with that I consider to be like essential in my gameplay, let me know, and I can definitely do that. If you guys have any, questions about playing integrated, or questions about how I personally play rotationally, and now that I've given you kind of more of like an insight of now that I've played more with my integrated save and played played more rotationally, like how I deal with specific scenarios or whatever, please leave them in the comments down below. I would gladly answer as much as I can. So yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think. Have you guys ever thought about playing an integrated save, or like even just like rotationally? And I would love to hear all about how it went for you, or if, you didn't end up doing it for some reason or another. Because I have to tell you that I never really used to like The Sims 4, but I love this save file. I don't know, I cannot get enough of it. And that's why I play so much of it, even like on stream and stuff, because I really do enjoy it. And I'm thinking that I'm just gonna keep my personal one as the one that I play for you guys as well. I know I had a second one going as an LP, but I think that this version is just gonna be enough. I don't think that it's popular enough to really start like keep that other series going. So if you guys don't like that idea, let me know as well, because I would love to hear what you guys think. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that it maybe helps you guys play a bit more, and it's a little bit more insight on what I've come to terms with in my rotational play for sure. And my integrated save for sure as well. And if you guys have any suggestions for playing rotationally, or things that maybe I haven't talked about, that maybe you have played rotationally, please leave those tips down in the comments down below. I'm sure they would help somebody, if not me or someone else. I'm sure that it would be great. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. In the description below is all of my social media links, so definitely check those out. And I will see you guys in my very next one. Thanks very much for watching.